Hey there, this is Michael with the general reading for Aries for February 2022. This could be for any Aries placements, sun, moon, rising, whatever. Doesn't matter, you are welcome here. I do hope that this video finds you well and in good spirits. I actually have all of your cards already on the table here. I'm really excited to dive in for you. Really quick, I do have all of my links in the description box down below. If you're looking for a reading or Reiki session with me or want to follow me on my other social media accounts, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate anyone who has supported this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes, and it's just a great way to help support this channel and allow me to keep putting out these messages. So the cards I have for you on the table, the first one we have is actually the Eight of Cups, and this is showing up in the past. This is actually kind of interesting because the Eight of Cups signifies taking some time away or needing to walk away from a situation. I often think of the Eight of Cups as quite literally walking up a mountain, and that makes a lot of sense with this specific depiction of it. And it's kind of that spiritual moment. It's almost like the journey in becoming the hermit, where you are at the top of the mountain and gain perspective. The Eight of Cups represents that journey on the way to that moment of perspective. And I feel like a lot of you have really just needed to take time for yourself to connect spiritually. That's something that's pretty important and makes a lot of sense because Jupiter has entered into Pisces and joined Neptune. That actually happened at the very end of 2021. And so that makes sense that that's kind of been thematic for you in January and in this year so far. I actually do see the Ace of Cups and Judgment as energies that you have gained or advice for you moving forward. And it really does feel like with the Eight of Cups, you took this time or you really reconnected with yourself, or you need to reconnect with yourself to gain this insight or this intuition, this connection here. And with this Judgment card, it really feels quite spiritual. Tapping into your calling feels very, very significant for me. For some of you, there could potentially be a relationship that you walked away from or a connection that you walked away from. That could be romantic, that could be a friendship, that could be a family member, it could be any number of relationships or dynamics. And maybe there is something that has come back from the past, and that is something that you are focusing on right now or talking about. I actually kind of remember that being thematic for you last month. So that very well could be a continuation of this energy here. And it feels like there's something that has come up during this Mercury retrograde or Venus retrograde that we had in January that was really, really significant to you. And interestingly, we are starting off this month with a new moon in Aquarius, and that is your 11th house, your house of friendships, of social networks. And this house also represents universal support. Very often the universe supports us through other people, which is why I think it's connected to those helpful contacts that we make or that networking where we have our lucky breaks. And that could very well be thematic for you this month as well, especially right around the 1st. And even when Mercury is going direct on the 4th, there could be new contacts that you're making or new messages coming in that are really helping you reach towards your goals or find emotional fulfillment. But I really do think ultimately the 11th house is actually about the ways that the universe is trying to support us, which often comes through friends. It often comes through those lucky breaks that you could be experiencing. However, Aries, we do actually have the Eight of Swords for you this month. And the Eight of Swords often signifies feeling stuck or feeling trapped. And if this is your energy, if you feel stuck in a situation or you're just feeling really blocked energetically, the Eight of Swords is actually kind of a positive message, at least in my eyes, because very often this feeling of entrapment or feeling stuck is more or less just our own perception. This woman is blindfolded, she is tied up, it's true. There are circumstances here that are making her feel this way, that are making her feel stuck. But what she's not yet fully aware of is the swords surrounding her can actually be the thing that helps her cut herself free. There is a way out of this situation. It might just not be something that you are fully perceiving right now, or if you're just feeling stuck or blocked or whatever, I think there is this sort of perception that is happening that is kind of giving you tunnel vision. That might just be something to look out for this month. We do actually have quite a bit of activity with your ruling planet Mars in Capricorn. Mars is making a lot of aspects this month, so there's actually quite a bit of dynamic energy that is taking place for you. So honestly, this Eight of Swords is pretty interesting to me. It really does feel like there is this kind of story you're telling yourself, or the way you're looking at the situation is actually the thing that is causing you problems rather than the situation itself. And there could also be some things with the retrogrades. We are going in the post-shadow phase for Mercury and for Venus this month, so we are kind of playing catch-up. And maybe there are situations that you kind of feel stuck to or obligated to, loose ends that you are tying up. That is kind of a way I could potentially see this as well. I do have as a potential challenge the Four of Swords, which is contemplation. It is taking rest. And I think there's a lot here on the table where it's like you want to move forward. All of the planets are actually going to be direct from February until the end of April. So we really do have this momentum that's going to be building over the next few months. And I'm just going to tell you now, you might not want to rush into things because they could go a lot faster than you realize. Don't overexpend yourself. Don't overbook yourself. Allow yourself to kind of ease into February. And by the end of the month, you should have a better idea of your sense of energy and obligation and kind of the different responsibilities that you're going to be juggling. Just throwing that out there now. There could actually be a situation that I almost get this sense with like Mercury going direct. I kind of get this story of like maybe you signed a lease or there was something about fine print that you didn't read, and that's kind of coming into your awareness now too. There's some sort of contract that could potentially be coming up. But honestly, I feel like it's not as bad as you think, Aries. Whatever it is that kind of happened behind the scenes or without you noticing, I don't think it's as catastrophic or as binding as you make it out to be. And we do also have a full moon in Leo this month as well. So there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of energy. And your ruling planet Mars is actually going to be conjunct with Venus throughout most of this month. So they're going to be very close together, I believe, from the 14th all the way to the end of the month. This aspect will actually be the strongest around the 18th. So right as we are beginning Pisces season, or I'm sorry, the 16th when we have the full moon and we begin Pisces season on the 12th. And maybe this is where things are kind of slowing down for you a little bit, and that's where this frustration is coming in, because Pisces energy really is about flow and trusting in the universe, trusting in the process, and really connecting with your emotions, becoming aware of your subconscious. And that might be this sort of conflicting energy where it's like you want to keep moving forward, you want things to happen faster than they're happening, but there's also this kind of need to slow down and to flow and to heal, take care of your mental health, really look at the ways you might not be serving yourself anymore, the bad habits or even addictions that you could be dealing with. There's a lot this year for you particularly that could actually be about letting go of those things with Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. But I really ultimately see with this full moon in Leo for you, there is this really dynamic sense of passion. There actually could be some new relationships or just putting yourself back out into the world. And that's actually kind of energy I'm getting with the cards for the future here. I pulled quite a few. I have the King of Pentacles with the Six of Swords and the Star. And it feels like you're actually becoming this King of Pentacles. Maybe there is another earth sign in your life, but I actually feel like this is energy that you are stepping into, especially with all this focus on career and your role in the world that you've been in. It feels like you're actually moving towards your dreams. And that actually makes a lot of sense with Mars forming a trine with Neptune on the 23rd. Mars is going to be in Capricorn, your career, your place in the world, your role. Really harmonizing with Neptune in the 12th house, which is your subconscious, your dream world. This is actually a really great month for any of you who work in creative professions, honestly. This whole year is, but I feel like you really could be creating a new job for yourself, especially as this King of Pentacles. You could be creating your own enterprise here or your own business, or just doing things that make you feel good and being quite successful with them. And leaving behind the sort of stuck feeling with the Six of Swords. I want to tell you, Aries, it feels like if you're trying to resist something, you're actually persisting that energy. And you almost need to just allow yourself to feel that stuck feeling, to kind of sink into it. And that's going to be the thing that helps you break through. And that might be the energy that happens on the 23rd with Mars and Neptune kind of harmonizing together. I could potentially see that actually. But this feels very much like the more you try to resist an uncomfortable situation or feeling, the more stuck you get into it. I really do think of that finger trap analogy. I bring that up in some of my readings, where it's like the more you try to pull out of the finger trap, the more stuck you get. You have to lean into the experience, and that is how you free yourself. And you are going to be making your dreams come true with this star here, or you're moving in that direction. I feel like there are still some things that you are shedding from the past with the Judgment card. It feels like there's some review for you this month, and that actually makes sense. I often speak of the sign before your sign as kind of this review period. So we are in Pisces season, and that's going to be the season before we enter your season, Aries season. And for Aries, it really is about reviewing things. What do I bring in with me into the next year? What do I let go of? What can I finally put down? There's just this taking stock that is happening, and maybe that's what feels kind of slow, or maybe that's what makes it feel like you're never going to get there, but I feel like you are headed in the right direction here. Trust in your intuition. You already had this sense of calling, or this thing that excited you. Maybe it was a connection, maybe it was this new career, and I see you're actually making strides towards that. There could even be some travel that is happening as well, potentially, but that feels more down the road. I don't feel like you're traveling this month necessarily. Some of you could be, but this feels more like fixing your sight into the future, making plans for the future. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, Mars and Neptune forming a trine on the 23rd. I think there's a sense of breakthrough for you. And with Venus being there as well, there is also a lot of beauty. There's a lot of creativity. There could be love again. But I think this is actually more about creation and creating something that you love rather than a relationship. But how this actually lands for all of you is going to be different because you're all in different places. You're all manifesting this energy in different ways. So I think whatever it is that has been kind of stuck or stagnant, I do see you moving away from this energy, and you're coming into something more stable, and you're coming to something that inspires hope and faith for you. And it's important that you continue to have hope and faith in those things. The animal cards that I actually pulled for you are really interesting because I have the snake and the lizard. So there's a lot of imagery here that's about shedding a skin and really connecting with the fire element with lizard. I think of lizard as kind of basking in the sun. They're both cold-blooded animals, so they need to derive their energy from the sun, and how they regulate their body temperature is also external. So it does feel like you need to connect with things that inspire you, with things that light you up with this solar energy. And there is actually something with the snake here about you tapping into magic. Both of these animals are very magical. And there's actually quite a bit of like intuitive energy with these as well. Your intuition could really be increasing a lot this year, or could really just feel very in tune with things this year. And especially this month, as we are in Pisces season, that makes a lot of sense to me as we go through February and even into March. And your intuition is helping you go into a direction that feels really good and empowering for you. And if you've wanted to change your career, this could be a really good time to start doing that or thinking about that. It could also just be a breakthrough in your career. Maybe you love what you do. This could be a time where you have newfound success, or there's even kind of a promotion or breaking through in some way as well. But honestly, a lot of this energy is about dissolving things. It's like breaking through things, and it's like not even trying to force that. It's hard for me to really explain here, but there is this sense of like shedding a skin. It's not necessarily about you escaping a situation as much as it is about you outgrowing where you currently are or who you currently are. And I actually do see at the bottom of the deck here, we have the fish card here, which is very interesting because, again, Pisces energy. Also, this thing with scales, maybe there's something about that. Maybe that even means like the scales of balance, kind of a pun. But I see the fish as moving with the tides, moving with the currents. There is something that is much larger than you that is directing you this month, Aries. There is this calling or this purpose. And I actually do see the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck here, which is interesting. Again, kind of a similar echo to before. I could see a relationship for some of you. I could see that opening up. The Knight of Cups actually is Pisces energy, however, and I really feel like for you, this is really talking more about you following your intuition. You are this Knight of Cups. It's not necessarily someone else coming into your life and offering you this cup. It's about you going and flowing with that, following that, being that Knight of Cups yourself. And it feels like it brings you a lot of success here with the King of Pentacles. And this is actually making me think specifically of Taurus energy as well. So there could be something happening in Taurus season at the end of April to May where there's some sort of travel or opportunity or something that you're looking forward to, something that is coming into fruition now, or something that is beginning to blossom now and will come into fruition then. So those are kind of significant time periods, but there's a lot of this Pisces energy. And I almost want to tell you to move through this month like a Pisces, to really allow yourself to flow and to surrender and trust that your manifestations are carrying you, your desires are carrying you. You have not been forsaken. Your spirit is working with you. Your guides are working with you. The universe is working with you right now. And you might actually be asked to shed some things in this process. But it's because you've grown, or you're in the process of growing. And some of you have been resisting this growth for some time. Some of you have been actually afraid to grow because it might mean leaving something behind or losing something that is familiar or stable. But when I see the fish, it's like if you've been swimming upstream, now is the time to go with the current. And to really trust in this direction you're being pulled in. Because it is your soul. And it's almost like, are you moving with your soul, or are you fighting against your soul or spirit? And there's just this thing with like money. Maybe that's what this Eight of Swords is. Maybe you feel stuck because of your finances, but I feel like financially you're going to figure something else, or maybe there's some support that's coming in. There's something that's going to be supplying you, I think, which is interesting. I do just want to say as well, we have the Pluto return of the United States this month. It's the first of 3. It's in Capricorn, and it's in the second house of the United States. So this year, there really could be a lot of things with economy and finance that feel really unstable. But I think you're still being encouraged to trust in your process and to flow with that, Aries. And I think you will be rewarded. And you're actually going to find something that is not only sustainable, it sustains you. And sustainability goes 2 ways. And those are all the messages I am getting for you right now, Aries. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. I do hope that this was insightful for you. I hope it lifted you up. Let me know in the comments down below what this dream is, what this calling is. It seems like it's a really powerful time for you to claim that. So do it in the comment section down below. All of my links are in the description box, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, Aries, and have a happy February.